Okay, we are here with Fingers Malloy and April Gregory, and I gotta tell you, this is the hottest together shot I've done in a while because of the height differences here. First, CPAC, day one, how's it been so far?
I've been amazed so far at the attendance to me is lower this year than it was last year and years past. I'm trying to figure out why that is. Is it because there's been some controversy about the speakers? Is it that conservatives are a little bit complacent because we just got the White House? Or is there still a Never Trump faction that is refusing to show up? It's something that we've been talking about on our show. That's one thing I've noticed so far. Is it just doesn't seem like in years past you'd walk through here and it would be difficult to get through the crowds. And this year it seems rather light.
And yourself, April?
Well, it's also sort of besides that, it's kind of more of a chill mood this year. It's not as intense, or there's not a theme. It's not very controversial. It's just everybody's chill, hanging out, having fun. It's not a bad thing.
We just had last year, as I recall, we just had the Gorsuch nomination, and you still had the flush of the victory and the media going nuts, so that might make a difference, of course, too. Were there any particular speakers or things that you're looking to cover this year? I'll start with you.
Well, definitely the president and vice president are the keys, and when you can have them both in the same place, that's obviously great, and just kind of seeing what they have to say, particularly with the gun issues going on right now.
Did you hear the vice president and Dana Lash, and what did you think?
Well, I always think the vice president does great. He always brings great at conversing and just talking about things without being divisive so I enjoyed what he had to say.
You're talking to a Hoosier over here,
yeah.
So she's a huge Mike Pence fan.
Full disclosure, big Mike Pence fan right here.
It'll be interesting to see what the president has to say tomorrow. He had some controversial statements about what we could do about guns. Will he have some sort of initiative that he'll throw out to the crowd tomorrow, or will it just be red meat stuff? And I gotta believe, as you know, Pete, you've been to a lot of these. It's mostly rah-rah red meat cheerleader stuff, and you don't hear a lot of new initiatives coming out.
It's frightening. It's frightening when you say I've been to a lot of these, and it's been like 9 years since my first CPAC, and I have been to a lot of these now. It's scary to think about.
What is it, the same fedora this whole time?
Well, this one I have actually had for a while. My other hat, Stacey McCain is wearing at the moment because he forgot his. But my first CPAC, he was wearing one of my hats, so that fits in very well. All right, now are you doing live radio here during the show?
No, we do a show for WAAM 1600 in Ann Arbor on the weekends, and so we are taping today, and then we're done for the week.
Any key interviews that you've picked up?
Well, we were happy to talk to Kurt Schlichter of townhall.com, Matt Vespa of Town Hall, talked to Tony Katz of 93 WIBC, Kerry Pickett of Daily Caller, Series 6.
I've not had a chance to talk to Kerry Pickett, but I've talked to Kurt and Tony. Although in fact, here goes Kurt now, walking by, just looking.
He's focused.
Yeah.
Focused.
Well, when nature calls, you end up coming. All right, now I'm going to ask you guys the questions I've asked everyone at CPAC, and obviously you'll have to answer individually here. Trump year one is just been finished. Do you give it thumbs up? Do you give it thumbs down? Do you give it Mets?
Just based on his presidency, and we're going to ignore the Twitter stuff that everybody seems to get antsy about, I give it a thumbs up so far.
Thumbs up?
I give it a thumbs up on accomplishing things he's wanting to do. I don't mind the tweeting. I don't mind tweeting at all.
All right, so you're with me on that. All right, the thing you like the best from Trump, the thing you like the worst from Trump this year. We'll start with you, April. Or if you want, we can start with Fingers if he's ready.
Well, obviously, tax reform was huge. Huge.
I agree.
I'm not crazy about not getting much of anything as far as healthcare reform. I'm hoping that we're going to see something like that with that this year, but with it being an election year, who knows?
Now you've had a little time, so.
Yeah, it would be nice to see something more with health reform. I think he did what he had to do with the tax situation, and we'll see.
All right. Big midterm election coming up. A small margin in the Senate, but a very favorable map for the GOP. A much larger margin in the House, but much harder to hold. Odds on the GOP holding House and Senate.
I think there's a good possibility that they may lose the Senate. But,
really?
Yeah, but they're going to keep the House.
Really? That's the opposite of what many people. I've heard
It's
people
so
say
hard.
about the House, but I'm very surprised to hear that on the Senate, given the map.
I know that the map is the way it is, but you're seeing, the left is very, very energized at this point, and I'm starting to be. I'm a little concerned that I'm not seeing that type of enthusiasm on our side. What will the turnout be during the midterms? I want to believe that they'll be able to keep the Senate and the House, but I'm a little bit nervous about the Senate.
I think they'll probably keep both. However, I think it might not be a bad strategy to throw the House.
To throw the House?
Throw the House. Speaker Pelosi fires up for next time.
Wow.
Okay, I have never heard somebody make that suggestion. All right, in your opinion, what can President Trump do to help the GOP keep the Senate and the House?
Well, speaking of CPAC, obviously is the answer, so he'll do that tomorrow. No, I think it's just general midterm situation. I mean, this is the same thing every time. When the party that is in power is facing a midterm, it's the same. And so, I tweet his followers and tell them to go vote. I don't know.
So nothing big. What do you think?
Well, I think you got to run on tax reform. So the reason why you have more money coming out, staying in your bank account and less being taken out of your paycheck is because of President Trump and the Republican Party. You got to run on that.
If you get some bricks down on that border wall.
That's going to be interesting to see too, is if that's going to be his gitmo.
It's a very interesting reason that you brought that up, because that's my final question. There's been talk of a DACA deal for a border wall. Do you make that deal? I ask you, Fingers Malloy.
No, because I don't believe there'll ever be a border wall. I think that even if it passes, they've had funding for the wall for several years now, and nothing ever gets built. So
they have tested prototypes.
I'm going to have to see the wall built before we see anything like that.
So you want it, if the wall actually gets built, are you willing to make a deal there?
Yes.
But it has to be a real wall.
Yeah, prove it. I'm not even concerned so much about actually being a wall. I just want to see border security beefing it up, and if it's a wall, that's great. If it's a combination of wall and other technology, that's great. But too many times we've been told that we're going to beef up security at the border, and it never happens.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm okay with sacrificing DACA for the wall. However, I agree that I don't think it's going to happen. I want proof.
All right, now one final time, where can people find you both, other than here at CPAC?
I am at April T. Gregory on Twitter. I'm also at Smart Girl Politics and on the Fingers Malloy Show.
Yep, the name of the show is Snark Factor. If you're not in Southeast Michigan, you can find it on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and TuneIn, and you can follow me on Twitter at Fingers Malloy.
And something just occurred to me. I interviewed a lady from Michigan earlier who said that there are some interesting races going on there, especially for governor. Is Michigan a state that people should be watching during the midterms? Are there some interesting things for conservatives going on there?
Well, there always are interesting things in Michigan. But as you know, it's so hard to determine, this far out, even this far out. Because you don't know if there's going to be a terrorist attack. You don't know if...
right, the mood is it's just been different in the past few years. So it's hard to say who's going to win what. And that's just how it was with...
and of course, we know how reliable the polls were last time, too.
Right. So.
All right, well, thank you so much for letting me hold you up, and go off and gut out on the town.
Thank you.
Thank you.